Creating an adventure. Hopefully you have already watched the How to Create a Junket tutorial, which goes into how to create an outdoor junket step by step. If you have not, we advise you to pause this video and watch the How to Create a Junket video in its entirety before coming back to the Creating an Adventure tutorial after that. If you have already watched that video, or you want to go straight into creating an adventure, we will go through the process step by step to make sure nothing is missed. You should already have an account made, otherwise you wouldn't be able to log in and see this screen and dashboard. Now that you are in your dashboard, you should see this screen right here. If you haven't created any junkets at this point, you will see no junkets. To start a junket, click Add a Junket. You will then be taken to this page, which lets you choose the type of junket and pricing. Choose your title, then your pricing, and then of course choose the type of junket, which in this case will be an adventure. Once you choose your options and click Create Junket, you'll be taken to the main title page of your new junket. Success. As you can see, you are in a brand new junket with no content, no map icons, stops, or descriptions. You will need to choose feature images, add descriptions with text content, upload audio, etc. I would recommend having your content ready beforehand in a doc so you have your stops, titles, descriptions ready to go. It's actually good to have a folder for feature images and one for extra images or clue item images so you have them ready to upload. So right here we have a folder for feature images, we have clue and item images, and then we have our document right here that has our content, our picture, main picture of each stop, and our questions for our decision points. Now, as far as audio is concerned, you can have a folder ready with pre-recorded audio if you like. However, our new feature allows you to record audio straight onto the platform and download it as a file to save it for backup. For example, right here you can see the upload audio from a file, or you can record right here, and then when you're done recording, you hit stop and a little download icon will appear. You can download that, it will go into your downloads and save it to your desktop. And then you can either upload from that, or you can hit upload and it'll go straight into that stop for that audio. So you have multiple options when it comes to audio. This is a great feature because as long as you have your written content descriptions, you can record the audio at any time and upload while it's still in the content management system. Just don't forget to scroll down and hit save when you're done. At this point, like an outdoor tour, you will want to fill in the basics on your title page first. Upload a feature image. Right here, you can choose whichever feature image you like for the main feature image for your tour. When you're uploading the feature images, if you try to upload something too small or low quality, it'll say it needs to be 700 by 400 pixels minimum so you have high quality photos. Then here you can add a custom icon for your map, so your map icons won't just look like pins. You can use a ghost for a ghost adventure, a book for an interactive scavenger hunt, etc. Your description is basically the intro to the tour, and you can upload intro audio right away, explain what the theme of the adventure is, and then give them a basic overview of what they are trying to accomplish. For example, in this complete adventure here, the theme is a gathering of ghostly ghouls. The challenge is for them to make their way through the adventure, collecting clues and information to find a gathering of ghosts at the end of the venture, which will be here at the last stop. Be descriptive, be dramatic, and give them something exciting to look forward to. So for example, we have lots of adjectives. We talk about what they're going to find in Williamsburg. We give them a call to action. Do you dare? Are you ready not only to take a trip through memory lane, but take part, get involved, and make decisions and take actions, etc., etc., etc. Now you can create the description anytime you want, and you can feel free to play around with and learn the content management system, but once you are ready to build your entire adventure, you should at least have a theme for the adventure before you start building it in the CMS. Along with that theme is, of course, the location of your adventure. So this one is in Williamsburg. and we started on the Duke of Gloucester Street in Williamsburg on the main street. Now, just like in the outdoor option, you're able to put social media links into the title so users can click and go to your pages. Then you have your intro audio, which is basically just your text description and audio, and your background audio. This is a great feature that allows you to give user a relevant ambiance depending on your adventure theme. Perhaps you use scary sound effects for a ghost adventure, or classical music and cannons for a history scavenger hunt. Whatever you imagine would be the right sound for that theme. After this, you have images and video that they can see when they start the tour. I recommend on the title page to use all three image options. The more interactive you can make the adventure, the more excitement it will lend to their experience. For example, you have someone dress up as a ghost or a Grim Reaper on location and either recite the description on a video, which you would upload to YouTube and then copy that link right here. You could have a video that is clips of different locations they will see on the adventure, almost like a mini virtual tour preview. The choice is yours. Then you will have your trophy and prize. This feature is also available on the outdoor tour option, but it is highly recommended that you have a trophy that they can achieve only by completing the adventure on location, as well as a prize that you would award them when they complete the adventure. The prize could be anything from a t-shirt to a mascot plushie to a growler of beer. Again, it's your choice. You just choose the trophy image and how long until the prize expires. You want them to redeem it somewhat soon. If it expires before they redeem it, they will not be able to see the prize details or the location that they get it from or the instructions. Finally, you have this section that is unique to the adventure feature. While your outdoor tours have start and end points that can be at the same location and stops that all go in order, the adventure feature will take them on a virtual and interactive scavenger hunt or escape room with clues that they will have to make choices, decisions, choose actions, and have multiple routes with multiple lengths and time frames that are possible to reach their ending point. It all depends on what choices you give them, what they choose, and where each choice will take them. It is because of this feature we recommend creating all the basics of your stops in advance. When I say basics, I mean basically just a title and location for each stop. So for example, in our test adventure, we are on our title page. I'll add my stop, title, and then just a location, save, and now we'll zoom in. And there we can see my first stop. The reason we do this is because you have to have the stops in advance, otherwise you can't make your decision points. You can build the whole tour with stops, descriptions, audio, and images without setting any decision points, but if you don't have the document with an outline and mapping diagram, you might not have the best clues, transitions, and descriptions for each stop that makes sense. So once you have all these stops added in, so let's go ahead and add another stop. And we'll do another location. And you can see another point pop up. We'll save that. And now you have a couple stops. This difference from the outdoor tour is that it doesn't matter what order you put the stops in on the list. It is the decisions that will determine what routes they will take. Obviously, you want to have some logic to your mapping. You don't want them to get all the way through almost to the end and then go all the way back to the starting point. So for example, if they make it all the way here in this tour to stop 15, but then you have a question that sends them all the way back to stop number 1, it might take them 2 or 3 times as long to finish the tour, so there needs to be some logic. But there are also shorter routes and longer routes depending on their decisions. As I said before, you can build the whole tour with stops, description, audio, and images without the decision points. But if you don't have that document to make that outline and mapping diagram, you might not have those transitions and descriptions for each stop that make sense. So for an example, here is a document that we built to show the content of an adventure. We have the title, we have the stop names, we have a feature image, we have the description, which we can then turn into audio, and then we have the question. Answer 1, answer 2, and then it shows where they go to. Along with this document that contains the content, we also have a diagram that shows where they're going based on what choice. So if they choose decision A, they'll go here, and then they have 2 more choices to make. Depending on what they make, this route could take them through this way, or it could take them through this way at different time lengths. Now, in this completed adventure, you can see that there are multiple stops created as well as multiple decision points at the starting point. If you click on list mode, you can see all your stops, and remember, this is not the order that they will go in because of the decision points. So, looking at this description, you can see at the end of the description, there's a question prompt, and then the answers. They are all connected. Descriptions lead to questions, which lead to options, answers, and clues, which lead to different stops that make sense with those decisions. The description puts the user in a specific situation that asks a question. For example, she hands you an old razor and bandages. You only have time to save one of them. Which do you save? The option answer A, Confederate soldier, leads them back to stop 7 because that stop is related to Confederate soldiers. If you look at stop 7, choosing the wrong side, you will see that the beginning of this description picks up where the first option answer left off. You are now standing in front of etc., etc., etc. The point of all this is not to confuse you or the user. It is simply to explain how the logic map works, and after that, you can play around with the content management system. You should come up with a theme and stops before starting to build your product. You should create that document, again, similar to this one, that has descriptions, questions, answers, and decision points. Now you want to add those to your stops. This should be the easy part. You can copy and paste that content right in. So if we go back in here to our new adventure, I want to paste that, copy and paste that description in there. I will just go here to my first one and copy. Back to my adventure, paste, and there we have it. We have our content for this stop. We have the location in there. We can upload the audio now via a voice recording where I just read this content right here, or I can upload it later. You can add your images, etc., etc., etc. You want to be descriptive and try to invoke action and decision in the question prompt and the answers. Finally, copy and paste or type your answer decision points. You can have anywhere between 2 and 4 decision points, then you choose what stops those lead to. For example, if we go to Market Square stop, the nurse's head devil and amputations, the description ends with, you imagine the head devil with standing over you with his amputation saw. Would you have followed his orders and risked death, or would you have had the courage to stand up to one of the worst men alive during the Civil War? This leads to the question prompt. The head devil appears in the window of the artillery building. He laughs and then yells at one of the nurses to hand you a saw. What do you do? Question decision A. Take the saw from the nurse and assist in the amputations, risking your very soul and an eternal curse. This leads to stop number 5, which is not in that order again, but it's called Eve's eternal curse. Answer decision B. Refuse to amputate but still help bury the limbs in the giant amputation pit outside, possibly leading to your own insanity. Well, this, of course, leads to destination of the deserted dead stop, which is the public hospital for the insane. Insanity, public hospital for the insane. Finally, destination, decision point, or answer C, refuse, grab one of the nurses, and run to Union officers to report the head devil for his crimes against humanity. This leads to a mob stringing up the head devil at the Hangman's Tree stop, which is right over here, and you can see the decision point is chosen right here out of all your stops. Again, this is why even if you haven't put the description or the audio or anything and you're just mapping out your route, you want to have at least the basics, which is the description and the location on the map of your stops, so then when you are choosing these decision points, you have the stops to choose from. And you can switch between map mode, which shows them right here, and list mode, which shows the feature images and the names of the stops right here, and you could click on them to switch between stops. So the questions and decisions have a natural logic to them and have routes that take them to relevant stops based on their answers. Also, if you look at the beginning of the description on one of the next stops, it picks up where you left off. Destination of the deserted dead. You arrive at what was possibly the worst prison hospital in Virginia, etc., etc., etc. The intro has the user arriving and seeing someone climb in the window. Remember, other stops will lead to the same destination. For example, over here, Ghastly Ghosts of the Maze Gardens, you'll see the answer decision A down here leads to destination of the deserted dead. It talks about a figure in a hospital gown running away from this location. That is why when it leads to, from this stop number 11, Ghastly Ghosts of the Maze Gardens, to destination of the deserted dead, it talks about someone climbing in a window in a hospital gown. All of this is just to say, be as creative as you like, have good creative content, and keep the storyline and decisions and transitions flowing, and it will be a very interactive and fun adventure. You can alternatively use a fill-in-the-blank option as long as the answer is something the user can somewhat easily answer. For example, here on this stop, we have a question prompt and then the answer is referred to somewhere in the description before, so that way they can actually know the answer. With that correct answer comes a success message, which usually gives them their next stop, only one stop since there are not multiple decision points. This one will be the Gathering of Ghostly Ladies. And it gives them a clue or item most of the time. As you can see here, it is this letter written to the president. Now, this is the last feature before we go into how to set the routes from each stop to the next possible stops. Clues and items. You do not have to put 3 images at each stop. You also do not have to have clues or items to find at every single stop. It's your choice. For example, at the Nurses, Soldiers, and Head Devil, an amputation stop, there is only one image down here of a surgeon's kit, which is referred to in the description when the head devil hands the user a saw. Right here, also in the question prompt. However, if you look at Eve's Eternal Curse, you can see there are 3 images here, all of which are referenced to in the descriptions and the answers and decisions. A shovel to dig up clues, Native American pottery, which is answer and decision B, and a doll, which is referenced to answer decision C when the user finds old children's toys. The clues and images are just to add to the scavenger hunt or virtual escape room type adventure you are trying to create. We recommend adding the clue images last after your descriptions and answer decision points have been made. Now, the audio is probably one of the easiest pieces of content to implement into your tour, but it is very interactive. You can record the descriptions and put all the audio files into a folder and upload them into each stop. As you can see right here, we have uploaded a file. Or you can use the record feature in the CMS, the content management system, to record while you read your description from here or a separate document. Then you can use that little download button that will pop up into a folder and store backup audio files for each stop, and then you can use the recording whenever you like. We recommend recording straight into the CMS, downloading it and saving it to a folder for backup, and then uploading it to your stop. This is just so you have that backup file just in case anything happens or you forget to save. Don't forget to hit save when you are finished. Finally, it's time to make sure your route is drawn so the decision points will actually lead the user from each answer decision point to the stop that corresponds with those decisions. You can do this after you have your decision points made and the stops that correspond with them. So I have all my decision points here. I have the stops that correspond with them right here. I switch to map mode, and then I can start seeing the route that I have already drawn. Or you can draw all of these when you're done building the entire adventure. So this is what we did in this case. We built all the stops, we put all the content, we have our entire list of stops right here. We have all of our decision points answered right here where they go to. And then when you're done, we go back to map mode. We go to those decision points and we draw the routes. Just like the app outdoor option, you will click on the starting point here and then create one or more points to guide the user to the next relevant stop. The difference is there will be a different stop and route for each answer decision. So make sure you click on set route. So if we go into our new test adventure, click right here on Kimball, set route, which should bring you up to your map, and then you draw your route to your next location. So we click here, and we click here to go straight there. Or if we wanted to just follow the streets, we have this that we can adjust so they go around, add another point, so we have them go all the way down here and around to the stop, which isn't logical, but you can see basic premise right here. After the first decision point, you will go to the next one and do the same thing. So here's the first decision point. Then we go to the next decision point, and you can see you have two alternate routes. By the time you get to the last decision point, you will have 2 to 4 possible routes for your user to take. As you can see here, route 1, route 2, and route 3. And then of course you can adjust these so they actually follow the line of the street or however it is that you wanted to do those. And then once you're done, you click save route and it will have your adjusted route. This is very important because the user will not be able to see a route like they will in the outdoor tour. In the outdoor tour, all the stops are going to be in order and will be GPS triggered in that order. Now, this route in the adventure is determined by their choices. Now, this sums up the creation of an adventure. Again, we have all of our stops here. We have our list mode. We have our map mode. We have our starting point, which is right here, the title page. Then we have our ending point, which I have all the way down here. Starting point, and then ending point right here, which is number 17, and they will get their success or congratulations message when they get there. At this point in the adventure, you should have a theme, multiple stops, a description for the title page in each stop, feature images for the title and each stop. Here's all your feature images that we would have uploaded already. Starting and ending points. Starting point. Photo for the starting point, ending point. Photo for the ending point. A question prompt and an answer or multiple answers for each of the decision points. So, like we said in stop 1, we have A, B, or C. Or over here in this stop, we have question prompt, fill in the blank, and a correct answer and a success message. You should also have extra images, clues, or items for each stop. So for example, again, for Eve's curse, we have 3 different decision points, and we have the images and clues for each of those. We have audio for each description/content, and of course videos if you choose to add those as well. And this one has a video right here at the beginning with a YouTube link. Then you have the trophy, the prize description, and the prize location. After all of that content, finally, you can submit your adventure for approval, test it out, and publish it to go live. Remember, you must submit it for approval before it can be published and go live. We hope this video tutorial was helpful and that the complexity of an adventure is not to make it hard for you, but to make it interactive and exciting for the user. If you are prepared in advance with your content document and your mapping diagram, as well as your images, your clues, and audio, we are confident that it will be a fun adventure for you to create this feature for your users and keep them coming back for more.